Hey everyone, my name is Yesenia. Welcome to my March TBR. Welcome to my March TBR, and I'm wearing my Professor Snape hoodie. So I thought it would be very fitting. And yeah, welcome. So March. Whew. I pulled out the books, and they're actually in a stack right here next to me. I pulled out the books that I really wanted to read for this month of March. So I decided to pick 4 Owl Crate books and then 3 books that are physical copies, but they're not Owl Crate books. And then I'm about to finish an audiobook that I started last week. It's called Ash Princess. I have about 3.5 to 3 hours left of it, so that one I should definitely finish by the end of this week, if not by Wednesday. So I'm gonna also pick a different audiobook to listen to for the rest of the month. I was thinking of listening to Nevernight just because it is a book that I do want to eventually own. So it is a book that I do want to eventually own. However, I will own the physical copy later. So I just figured, you know what, why not? Let me just listen to the audiobook now. And then it is a 20-hour audiobook. And then for those of you who don't know, you probably don't know, but I do not listen to my audiobooks on like super speed. So I don't listen to them on like two times the speed or 2.5 times the speed. I listen to them at the regular speed. I figure just because anything that goes faster than the regular speed, I just cannot comprehend it. So I listen to it on regular speed. And then also a 20-hour audiobook should last me about 2 weeks. And then there is another book that is coming out this month. It's March 31st, Night of the Dragon, which is the final book in the Shadow of the Fox trilogy. And I do want to listen to that book. I just don't want to like use up my credits, my Audible credits before that book comes out. Y'all know what I'm saying? So I think that will be the next audiobook that I'm going to be listening to for the rest of the month. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to jump right into my March TBR because this is a doozy. All right, so the first book on my March TBR that I'm going to talk about is The Crown by Kira Cass. And I read the first 4 books in the series already. For those of you who don't know, this is the selection series. And I listened to the first 3 books on Audible, like the audiobook, and then I have the ebook of The Heir. I was going to get the ebook of this one, The Crown, but The Crown was, the physical copy of this book just by itself was $6, and the ebook was $10. Like, Amazon, why you gotta do that to us? So that's why I decided to buy the paperback version because it ended up being way cheaper. I say $5. So I have this one. This is on my TBR, and this is the shortest book on my TBR, coming in at barely 300 pages. This is 278 pages. This, if I really wanted to, I can definitely finish this in a day. It probably won't happen, but I can do it. I finished Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone in a day, and that book I think is like 321 pages. But yeah, this is my shortest book on my TBR. Wait for it. Okay, so that's a non-Owl Crate book that I do want to finish this month. The next one is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. And I've been hearing a lot of people talk about this book and how much they love it. So I finally hopped on the bandwagon, and after hearing everybody talk about this one and then the sequel, a lot more people are now talking about the sequel. I think it just came out. I finally decided to get Skyward. So I got the paperback version because, once again, it was cheaper. I'm a broke teacher. I can't always afford hardcover. And then, especially reading the last few books on my February TBR, they were all hardcover because they were all Owl Crate books. I'm very certain all Owl Crate books, the main books at the very least, are hardcover because I have 4 Owl Crate books here and they're all hardcover. So those things are heavy, and then I like to read laying down on my back and then like holding the book up like this, and then just sometimes it's extremely heavy. I just finished Crown of Feathers. That book is freaking heavy. And then my signed edition of Heart of Flames came in from Owlcrate. That book is even heavier. I'm really excited to read Skyward. That was a long rant. I am so sorry about that. But yes, I am really excited to read Skyward. And this book is a bit hefty. Oh, 510 pages without the acknowledgments. So this is a hefty one. I am excited to read it though. So there you go. There's 2 books in my March TBR. The next one, this one I am so excited about. This was my most anticipated sequel that I really, really, really wanted to read. So it is Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. I read Scythe and oh my God. I now know what the hype is about this series. I'm like, what in the world? It was so mind-blowing. I think out of all the books that I read throughout February, and I'm also going to do a separate February TBR wrap-up, that was one of the 3 books that I gave 5 out of 5 stars to. So I read a total of like 12, 13 books throughout the month of February, and I gave 3 of them 5 out of 5 stars, which is not bad. And Scythe was one of them. So I am so excited to finally read Thunderhead. And Scythe was a book that I bought in a paperback, and it was so easy to read that book. Like, because this weighs nothing compared to, I'm gonna show you the next book on my TBR, Wicked Saints. Look at this. Look at the difference. I really outdid myself with my March TBR. Y'all are gonna notice. This is a very ambitious TBR. So anyway, this is the second book. I am so excited to read it. I really want to know what happens next. I don't want to say the first one left off on a cliffhanger. It wasn't really a cliffhanger. However, it left me wanting more. I heard this one ends off on a huge cliffhanger. I'm sorry, I cannot talk. But the third one, not many people have talked about the third one. Like, people own the third one, but they haven't read it yet. I'm really excited to read the third one too. So we will see what I think about this book. And then this book has 504 pages. So, like I said, this is a very ambitious TBR. So my next book, you guys already saw it. So it is Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan. And this is the Owlcrate version. I think the original copy of Wicked Saints is white. I don't know what the original color of the original copy is, but this is the Owlcrate version. One thing I'm really, really upset about, and I know this is small and tedious, but it has deckled edges, as you can clearly see. The book that I'm currently reading right now is Four Dead Queens, which is another Owlcrate book. That one has deckled edges, and oh my goodness, I was at my parents' house reading it yesterday while I was doing my laundry, and I had such a hard time flipping the pages. I know it seems like really small and petty, that's the word, petty, but it just annoyed me so much. So after reading enough books with deckled edges, I have finally come to the conclusion, because this is like the 3rd or 4th book, I don't like deckled edges. It's just, this is the only book, thank goodness, on my March TBR that has deckled edges on it. So, Wicked Saints. I don't know too much about this book. As you can clearly hear, I have never opened these books before. I don't know what this book is about. It's about monsters, apparently. I'm not too certain. I don't want to read the whole synopsis. I did hear that this book had mixed reviews. So, like, some people liked it and some people didn't. And Wicked Saints, though, it has, I don't know how many pages, like 400 and something. It has 400 and something pages. 381. I was close. So, there's Wicked Saints. The next one, I think, besides the 500-page paperback ones, this is my longest hardcover that I'm going to be reading this month. And this is We Hunt the Flame by, I butcher her name, I'm so sorry, Hafsa Fasal? I don't know. I butchered that name. I deeply apologize. But yes, We Hunt the Flame. I did see a lot of people, like, this is on a lot of people's bookshelves. However, I don't hear a lot of people, like, talking about it. They want to read this book, However, they're not reading this book. I think like a lot of people do have, you know, an ambitious TBR already, and they're getting their TBR set, and they do want to read it. They just have not read it yet. So I hear a lot of people talk about this book. However, I don't hear a lot of people like talking about the plot of this book. So I have no idea what in the world is gonna, like what the plot is in this book. I've never mentioned this before, so I'm gonna mention it now. I may or may not get a lot of hate for this, but I'm really a plot-driven person. So I know a lot of people when they say, like, when they talk about books, like they're more of a character-driven person. And so in the story, they do want to see the character develop. Like they do want to see the character growth. And they do want to see, you know, the character like growing from their experiences throughout the plot. And I am all for that. You know, if a character is an ass at the beginning of a book and then is still an ass at the end of the book, I'm like, let's see, they didn't really grow as a character. Unless that serves a purpose. I'm just rambling right now at this point. But when I read a book, I need a good plot. If the plot, so putting it this way, the character can grow. I do want to see that. However, I need to see the plot going somewhere. There needs to be an interesting plot in order for me to want to continue the series. And perfect example, the Arc of a Scythe series. This book, not this book, but the first book, I'll say that. The first book had a giant twist in the middle. I didn't see that coming. And then it kind of like went stagnant for a little bit as like the main character, Citra and Rowan, they did grow. And then at the end of the first book, I was like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. Like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. And then, like I said, Scythe did not leave off on a cliffhanger, but it did leave me wanting more. So that's what I need from a book. I need the plot to go somewhere. If the plot isn't going anywhere, then I'm probably gonna put the book down. How did I start talking about? Oh, plot. So yes, I am a plot-driven person. I need that plot to go somewhere in order for me to want to continue to read the book. And then this book, if I'm not mistaken, does have a book too. Because I was like, there's an epilogue. I don't know if this one has a book too. I definitely know Wicked Saints has a book too because Ruthless Gods, like the special Alcrate edition is already available on Alcrate. I thought this one, okay, maybe this one doesn't have a book too. I don't know. So yes, this one does not have deckled edges. It has nice, clean, pristine edges. And I love it. So yes, this is another one, We Hunt the Flame, on my March TBR list. So the next one, this one I hear so many things about on YouTube. Like, people recommended this book, and it is Sorcery of Thorns. Yes, Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. Yes, Sorcery of Thorns is another one that is on my list as well. Everyone, like I said, on YouTube is talking about it. They can't recommend it enough. So I'm really excited to read this book just because, you know, people recommend it. And I can't remember the storyline exactly. I don't want to read the synopsis right now. But yes, I'm very excited to read this book. And then I think this is definitely the Alcrate version because the original version I think is blue. I forgot the color, but like this is purple. I love purple, as you can see. I love the color purple. So yes, this is another one. As you can see, like I said, this is a very ambitious TBR. I don't know what in the world I was thinking with this. And then the last book on my TBR list, which is the last Alcrate book on my TBR list, is Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. This is the one that has the book two thingy at the end. Does it? Yes, this one does. So this one has a book too. It's called Unravel the Dusk. But this is the first one. I have not heard anybody talk about this book as well. I don't really see it on people's bookshelves, so who knows if they read it, if they didn't read it and unhauled it, or maybe they haven't read it yet. And I don't know too much about this book either, since like nobody talks about it. And obviously, yeah, there is a synopsis: a gifted tailor in disguise, 3 legendary dresses, the competition of a lifetime. Okay, So that's all I'm gonna be reading. Otherwise, this video is already like really long. I personally think so. So this is my last book on my TBR list, so Spin the Dawn. Whew. Okay, so those are the 7 books that I want to read this month, and they are very hefty books. Like, I feel like last month, February, I had a lot of like 300, maybe between 300 and 400 page books, and it was more doable. These are like really hefty books. I didn't know what I was thinking. I have 2 500 page books, and then I have these giant hardcover books. What was I thinking? And then I also plan on finishing Ash Princess on my audiobook, and then I also want to listen to Nevernight this month on audiobook as well, and then eventually get the, oopsie, I moved the cart, my bad, and then eventually get the physical copy of the book, because they are actually gorgeous, so I do want to own the copies. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching my March TBR. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I really hope that, you know, it inspired you to read different books, or like, I just hope it inspired you in some kind of way. And if you have any questions, comments, or any other kind of feedback, please leave them down below. I'll be more than happy to read them, and please be nice. I am a big believer in constructive criticism. Please don't be mean. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.